Mickey Mantle. The name alone conjures images of powerful swings, World Series glory, and the iconic pinstripes of the New York Yankees. He was the Mick, a symbol of athletic prowess and American aspiration. Yet, beneath the dazzling lights of his legendary career lay a shadow, a battle that would only truly begin once the cheering stopped. This is not just the story of a baseball hero, but of a man confronting his deepest personal demons long after his final game, and how his eventual honesty transformed the conversation around athlete wellness forever. For decades, Mantle's identity was inextricably linked to baseball. From his humble beginnings in Oklahoma to becoming a national icon, the structure and purpose of the game defined him. He played through immense pain, often masking it with alcohol, a habit that would escalate dramatically once the structured life of professional sports ended. In 1969, at just 37, he retired, leaving behind the roar of the crowd for an unsettling silence. The transition was abrupt, and the void it created proved to be fertile ground for his existing coping mechanisms to flourish unchecked. The adulation and intensity of being a superstar athlete are hard to replicate. After retirement, many athletes struggle with a profound loss of purpose and identity. For Mantle, this void became a dangerous companion. The structure of daily practice, travel, and games was gone, replaced by endless free time and a lack of direction. What was once a social drink became a daily ritual, then an inescapable need. The demons he had kept at bay with the demands of his career now had ample space to take root and grow, unchecked by the responsibilities of his playing days. In retirement, Mantle's alcoholism escalated dramatically. He was known to drink a fifth of liquor daily, often experiencing blackouts, a stark contrast to the disciplined athlete he once was. His legendary charisma masked a man spiraling into a profound addiction. The charming stories of his drinking during his playing days, once viewed as part of his mystique, became a tragic reality. The line between celebratory indulgence and chronic dependency blurred and eventually disappeared, leaving him in its destructive grip, slowly eroding his health and relationships. The heaviest cost of Mantle's addiction was borne by his family. His wife, Merlin, and their 4 sons watched helplessly as the man they loved slipped away. Promises were broken, trust eroded, and emotional distance grew into a chasm. The chaos and unpredictability of his drinking created an environment of constant tension and heartbreak. He was physically present but emotionally absent, a father and husband consumed by a disease that fractured the very bonds that should have sustained him. Their silent suffering became a testament to addiction's far-reaching devastation. Despite his worsening addiction, Mantle maintained a public persona. He made appearances, played in celebrity golf tournaments, and graciously signed autographs for adoring fans. To many, he was still the same beloved Mick. But behind the genial smile and easy charm was a man trapped in a private hell, battling a disease he couldn't control. The duality of his life was exhausting, performing for the public while his personal world crumbled, meticulously hiding the severity of his struggle from all but those closest to him, who endured its grim reality daily. Years of heavy drinking eventually took their toll. Mantle's health began to deteriorate rapidly, reaching a critical point. Doctors issued stark warnings about the irreversible damage being done to his liver. The consequences were no longer abstract, they were life-threatening. This grave medical reality, coupled with the tragic deaths of his son Billy in 1994 and a grandson, became an undeniable wake-up call. The once indestructible hero was fragile, facing a future potentially cut short by the very substance he had used to cope. He had to choose, life or the bottle. The moment of truth arrived. His family, desperate and heartbroken, finally confronted him directly, pleading for him to get help. This wasn't just an intervention, it was a desperate act of love. Mantle, confronted with his failing health and the anguish of his loved ones, made a monumental decision. It took immense courage for the proud icon to admit defeat to his disease and agree to seek professional treatment. This was the turning point, the first real step towards reclaiming his life, an act far more challenging than any heroic feat on the baseball diamond. In January 1994, Mickey Mantle checked into the Betty Ford Center, a world-renowned rehabilitation facility. For a man who lived under the public eye, this was a retreat into vulnerability and anonymity, a place where his legend meant nothing. There, surrounded by others battling similar demons, he embarked on the arduous journey of recovery. It was a rigorous process of self-reflection, group therapy, and confronting the root causes of his addiction. This structured environment, far from the temptations of his old life, provided the crucial foundation for his eventual sobriety. Upon leaving Betty Ford, Mantle faced the public once more, but this time, he carried a different kind of strength. In a powerful and vulnerable press conference, he publicly confessed his alcoholism. He didn't offer excuses, instead, he humbly acknowledged his mistakes and, with tearful sincerity, urged children not to emulate his drinking. This moment was revolutionary. For a sports icon to so openly admit such a deeply personal and often stigmatized struggle was unprecedented, breaking through decades of silence and shame surrounding addiction in sports. Sobriety opened the door to reconciliation, the painful but necessary process of mending his fractured family relationships. Mantle spent his sober months reconnecting with Merlin and his sons, offering heartfelt apologies and working to rebuild the trust that had been shattered by years of addiction. It wasn't an easy or instant fix, but the effort, the sincerity, and his sustained sobriety allowed for genuine healing. For his family, witnessing his commitment to recovery was a profound gift, transforming their years of heartbreak into hope and renewed connection. With sobriety came a new sense of purpose for Mantle. He became a passionate advocate, using his powerful platform to speak out against alcohol abuse, particularly to young people. He visited schools, shared his story, and implored others to learn from his mistakes. He found meaning not in reliving past glories, but in preventing future suffering. This new role, one of a humble, honest messenger, gave his life a profound direction beyond baseball. He was no longer just a legend, he was a living testament to the possibility of redemption and change. Tragically, just months after finding sobriety and a renewed purpose, Mantle received devastating news: he had liver cancer. The disease was a direct, brutal consequence of the decades of alcohol abuse he had so recently abandoned. He underwent a liver transplant in June 1995, a desperate attempt to save his life. The irony was heartbreaking. Just as he had won the battle against addiction and begun to rebuild his life and legacy, the physical toll of that past struggle resurfaced with a final, fatal blow, a stark reminder of addiction's long-term consequences. Even in his final days, Mantle's new purpose held strong. From his hospital bed, weakened but resolute, he recorded a poignant message, a final plea to his fans and to young people. He again urged them to avoid the path he had taken, to prioritize their health and lives over alcohol. It was a testament to his courage and his profound desire to make his struggle count for something positive. This final, raw appeal resonated deeply, transforming his personal tragedy into a universal warning, delivered with the weight of experience and impending mortality. On August 13, 1995, Mickey Mantle passed away at the age of 63. The world mourned the loss of a baseball legend, but his passing was more than just the end of an era in sports. It cemented the legacy of his final, honest chapter. The outpouring of grief was immense, but intertwined with it was a renewed focus on his courageous struggle and his powerful message of redemption and warning. His death, while tragic, only amplified the impact of his confession, ensuring his story would continue to inspire and caution for generations to come. Mantle's public battle with addiction, his raw honesty, and his ultimate redemption, marked a pivotal moment for athlete wellness. Before him, conversations about addiction, mental health, and post-career struggles were largely whispered, if they happened at all. His courageous admission broke the long-standing stigma. It told athletes that it was okay to be vulnerable, that seeking help wasn't a sign of weakness, but of strength. This monumental shift began to pave the way for a more open and supportive environment within professional sports for athletes facing similar issues. His story empowered other athletes to step forward. Figures like Darryl Strawberry, Josh Hamilton, and Dwight Gooden, who battled their own demons, found a precedent in Mantle's honesty. They could point to the Mick and say, "If he could do it, so can I." His vulnerability made it acceptable for stars to reveal their struggles, knowing they wouldn't just be judged, but potentially understood and supported. Mantle gave a voice to the silent struggles, creating a cultural shift where personal demons could finally be addressed openly, rather than hidden in shame. Today, major sports leagues and organizations have robust mental health and addiction support programs for their athletes. These initiatives, which include access to therapists, addiction specialists, and post-career transition services, owe a significant debt to pioneers like Mickey Mantle. His struggle illuminated the critical need for a holistic approach to athlete well-being, acknowledging that their identities and challenges extend far beyond the playing field. What was once unthinkable is now standard practice, ensuring athletes have the resources to thrive, both in and out of uniform. The pressure on professional athletes remains immense, and the transition from superstar to civilian can still be a treacherous path. Mantle's story, therefore, remains as relevant today as it was decades ago. It serves as both a cautionary tale and a beacon of hope, a reminder that even the most celebrated heroes can falter, but also that redemption and healing are possible. The conversation around mental health in sports is ongoing, continually evolving, but its foundation was firmly laid by the raw, courageous honesty of the Mick in his final years. Mickey Mantle, the legendary Yankee, delivered one final, profound home run, not on the field, but in the arena of human vulnerability. His journey from an iconic baseball player to a man consumed by addiction, his courageous decision to seek help, his public confession, the painful yet vital family reconciliation, and his powerful advocacy in his final years, collectively shaped an enduring legacy. He transformed his personal struggle into a catalyst for change, proving that even after the final inning, a hero can still make a profound impact, leaving the world a better, more understanding place for those who follow.